It was a story that didn't get a lot of attention. An asteroid just missing Earth by a few thousand miles. Now, you're probably not too worried because, after all, it was a few thousand miles away, right? Well, before you shrug this one off, listen to this story.
This is what it might look like if an asteroid were to hit the Earth. It's what almost happened to us recently. Except the asteroid, estimated to be the size of half a football field, missed us by about 61,000 kilometers, or 38,000 miles. That's twice the distance of a communications satellite. In space terms, that was a close call. The asteroid was quite accidentally discovered by astronomer Robert McNaught in Canberra, Australia, on February 27th. It was named 2009 DD45. It was moving fast and furiously towards Australia. Estimated time of arrival was 3 days, March 3rd.
This isn't a question of if, it's a question of when.
Ian Nicklin from the Royal Ontario Museum knows a lot about asteroids. He says it came out of nowhere, and he can't believe how close it got.
That's close, especially since we didn't know it was coming. Those aren't the kind of surprises you want to have, winging out of the dark at you.
He says had the asteroid actually hit, it would have been catastrophic.
If it landed in Toronto, for instance, it would devastate all of downtown Toronto. There's no question about it. And when these things hit, of course, they don't just make a hole. There's an enormous fireball that will incinerate things for kilometers around, and then there's a shock wave on top of that that will blow things over for many more kilometers on top of that.
Remember the movies Armageddon and Deep Impact? Well, Bruce Willis and his team, hired by NASA to destroy an asteroid heading towards Earth, had 18 days to stop it. And Deep Impact, they had a whole year. But Hollywood can't save NASA here. They weren't the ones who spotted this asteroid. And by the time it was spotted, we only had 3 days.
There's no time at all to affect anything. All you can do is put out warnings.
And to help you put this into perspective, the last time something this big hit the Earth, well, it created a popular tourist attraction in the U.S.
If you're familiar with the Barringer crater in Arizona, that's over a kilometer wide. And that was made by a 50-meter diameter impact about 50,000 years ago.
Well, we may have dodged a bullet this time, but the one asteroid that astronomers and sci-fi buffs everywhere are watching for is one scheduled to come dangerously close to the Earth on Friday, April 13th, the year 2029. It's called Apophis.
The name Apophis is derived from Greek mythology. He's the ancient god of evil and destruction.
Everyone's crossing their fingers and keeping their eyes to the sky when we're trying to get an accurate idea of its orbit.
And Apophis is estimated to be 390 meters wide. That's 7 times the size of the one that just missed us. If it hits the Earth, it would release 100,000 times more nuclear energy than the atom bomb that hit Hiroshima.
If this thing really is a credible, plausible threat, then we need to start thinking about it now, because it may take that long to actually get a strategy. If it turns out these things are jumbo piles, we can't just blow them up. We have to nudge them out of the way gently. And there are proposed ways of doing that that are probably feasible. A slow nudge. You only have to change them a few degrees, right, to make a huge difference.
So the clock is ticking, 20 years and counting. And while some scientists try and figure this one out, it may not be a perfect Hollywood ending. But you can bet you'll be hearing about this doomsday scenario on every pulpit every Sunday.